Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's session, we will explore how to monitor Nginx with Prometheus. So by integrating Prometheus with Nginx, administrator can gain valuable insight into the web server's performance and health. So it will enable proactive management and optimization. So these are the table of contents which we are going to learn. And there are some prerequisites so you should follow for this tutorial. So you will need to have AWS Ubuntu instance where we have to install Prometheus and enable the port 90 and 90 and 9113. So 9113 is for Nginx exporter and 9090 is for Prometheus server. Then we will learn steps to monitor Nginx with Prometheus. So which include installation, configuration, and then you need to enable and start the Prometheus exporter service. So we will create an systemit service so we can start the Nginx Prometheus exporter, and then we will update the Prometheus configuration so it can scrape the metrics from the Nginx. Then we will configure the firewall which in which we will enable the port 9090 and 9113. Then we will verify. At last, we will verify the host status on a Prometheus server. Then we will conclude. So let's start. So what is Prometheus? So Prometheus is an open source monitoring and alerting toolkit designed for reliability and scalability in modern dynamic environment. So it is developed by the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. Prometheus excels at collecting and storing time series data, allowing users to gain valuable insights into the performance and health of their applications and infrastructure. So with its powerful query language and support for multi-dimensional data, Prometheus has become a popular choice for monitoring systems within cloud-native ecosystem. Now let's learn about the Nginx. So what is Nginx? So Nginx is a high-performance open source web server and reverse proxy server. So it is renowned for its efficiency in handling concurrent connections and serving static content quickly. Nginx is often used as front-end web server to distribute incoming web traffic across multiple backend servers or to serve static content efficiently. So for example, let's say you have a website hosted on multiple backend servers running different applications. So Nginx can act as a reverse proxy to receive requests from clients and distribute them to appropriate backend server based on the predefined rules, such as load balancing algorithms or URL patterns. So this setup will help to distribute incoming traffic evenly across backend server. So which will improve overall performance and reliability of the website. Now let's learn about Nginx Prometheus exporter. So the Nginx Prometheus exporter is a tool designed to collect Nginx web server metrics and expose them in the format that Prometheus can understand. So it is a monitoring. So Prometheus is a monitoring and alerting system which can scrape and analyze the metrics. So it allows users to monitor Nginx performance metrics such as request rates, response time, and error rates in real time. So let's understand how the Nginx Prometheus exporter works. So first is the data collection. So the exporter gathers Nginx metrics by accessing the Nginx status page, which is enabled by configuring Nginx to expose the status information. Then is the exposure. So it formats the collected metrics into a Prometheus compatible format, usually in a text-based format called as exposition format. Then comes the scraping. So Prometheus scrapes the metrics exposed by the Nginx Prometheus exporter at regular intervals, typically via HTTP request. Then comes the storage and analysis. So Prometheus stores the scrape metrics in its time series database and allows users to query, visualize, and create alerts based on these metrics using Promptware, which is Prometheus query language. So let's take an example. So let's say if you have Nginx serving web traffic to your application. So with the help of nginx-prometheus-exporter, you can monitor various Nginx metrics such as the total number of requests, request duration, HTTP status code, what are the active connection, and the response size, and etc. So after we have followed the prerequisites, let's start with the steps to monitor Nginx with Prometheus. So here you can find that I have created a Prometheus server instance, Ubuntu instance, with t2.microtype, which is for free tier, and then I have connected this instance by using mobexterm2. So first command is to just update the system. So we have updated successfully. Now the first step is to install Nginx on the Ubuntu server. So simply type sudo apt get install nginx -y, so it will give permission to install. So as you can see, it has been installing. So after installation, now we will check that if Nginx is in a running state or not. So simply to check the status, you need to simply type sudo service nginx status, and here you can find that it has been actively running. So now we will verify this by simply copy your IP address. So to run the Nginx, you need to enable the port 80. So it will load the default page of Nginx. So here you can see Nginx has been installed successfully. So this is the default page of Nginx. Now our next step will be to configure the Nginx status model. So now we need to clear the screen and edit the Nginx configuration to enable the status module by simply creating a configuration file. So we will simply create a configuration file by simply typing sudo nano. So we will create the configuration file in the etc directory where all the configuration are saved in Nginx, and the name which you are going to give is the status dot conf. So this file now we are going to create, and if you press enter, now here you need to, so optionally you can restrict this plugin to emit metrics to only the local host. So it may be useful if you have a single Nginx instance, and you can install Prometheus exporter on it as well. So in case you have multiple Nginx server, so it's better to deploy Prometheus exporter on a separate instance and scrape all of them from a single exporter. So now we will add the configuration. So you can simply refer our article which is available on Post Techniques, how to monitor Nginx with Prometheus, and below here if you click on the steps, then you can find the configuration here. So we will simply copy this and paste on our instance. So as you can see, it is listening on port 80, and the location status as we need to scrape the Nginx status. So here you can find the stub status. So now save this file by simply entering Ctrl+X, Shift+5 and press enter. So we have saved the file successfully. Now we will verify this. So here you can find that our configuration file has been set successfully. Now, our next step is to comment out the default configuration. So now we will comment out the default configuration. So simply the default configuration is also stored in the etc directory. So which is named as nginx.config file. So simply type sudo nano etc nginx.config. So this is the name of the configuration file, which is default. So here you need to simply put an hash sign in the before they include nginx module enabled, and if you come down here you need to here you can see the include for sites enabled. Here also you need to enter hash sign before the include. So now we have committed out the default configuration. So simply enter Ctrl plus X, Shift plus Y and press enter to save that configuration. Now our next step is to open we will open the browser and navigate to our URL and check the status. So now just put your colon 80 and slash status. So after you have saved the configuration, just restart the Nginx service. So and refresh the status page. So here you can find that there are active connection to the server accepts handle request and all these are the status of the Nginx. Here you can find the reading, writing and waiting. So this output is basically from the Nginx substatus module. So which provides some basic statistics as we have seen, and if you refresh this it will automatically change. So let's understand. So the active connection is 2. So this will indicate the current number of active client connection to the Nginx server. So in this case, there are 2 active connections. Next is this server which accepts the handle request. So basically this number will represent various counts related to the client connection handled by the server. So first is the number 2. So the it will give the total number of accepted client connection. Next is the number which is also 2. So the total number of handled connection. So this will typically the same as the accepted connection unless the connection process is aborted. Next is the total number of requests handled by the server since it started. So here you can find it is 8. Now there are 3 states which is reading, writing and waiting. So let's understand. So reading, so this indicates the current number of connection where Nginx is reading the request header. Then is the writing. So this indicates the current number of connection where Nginx is writing the response back to the client. Next is the waiting. So this will indicate the current number of idle client connection waiting for Nginx to process the request. So we have finished with this step 2. Now we will follow with the step 3. So which is to download and install nginx-prometheus-exporter. So simply, so below you can find the download link where you can download the nginx-prometheus-exporter, and you can also visit the official site where you can download the Nginx exporter. So just copy this command to download the Nginx Prometheus export and paste it on the server. So as you can see, it has been installed successfully. Now, if you list out here, you can find the tab. Now our next step will be to extract that file. Now we will extract this file. So this is the tar file. Now we are going to untar it. So simply it's like zip and unzip the files. Now our next step will be to move the binary file of Nginx exporter to the user local pin location. So simply we will move this file, which is of, if you list out here, you can find the extracted files, and just we will move this to the user local bin location. So we have moved this nginx-prometheus-exporter file successfully. Now we will create an nginx exporter user to run the nginx exporter service. So simply now we will create a system and service for nginx exporter so we can start, stop and restart that service. So simply first you need to add the user in the bin directory. So here you can find the command is sudo user add bin false nginx prometheus and the user has been added successfully. Now our fourth step is to configure the Nginx Prometheus exporter service. So now we will configure that service. So first to configure, we need to create a system and service unit file for the Nginx Prometheus exporter. So simply we will create that system and service file in the etc directory system and system. So simply type sudo nano and here you can find the name of the file which we are going to create the service and which is stored in the etc system service file. So just enter this and now you need to enter the following content. So you can refer our article and just copy this and paste it. So here you can find the description, the service which is named as Nginx Prometheus Exporter. Then you can find the path and the URL. Here I have mentioned the local host which is our IP and the status. So now just save this configuration by simply entering Ctrl plus X, Shift plus Y and enter. Now our fifth step will be to enable and start the Nginx Prometheus exporter service. Now simply reload, we need to reload the new service file. So simply type sudo systemctl daemon reload. Now we will enable the Nginx exporter service to start our boot. So simply type sudo systemctl enable nginx prometheus export. So we have created the symlink successfully. Now we will start the nginx prometheus exporter, and after that just we will check the status of our nginx prometheus exporter. So here you can see it is actively running. So it is actively running successfully. Now we need to update the Prometheus configuration. So the Prometheus configuration. So before that, you need to install the Prometheus on your Ubuntu server. So as if you have learned about the prerequisites, it should be installed the Prometheus, and you can refer the article link by just clicking on the installation of Prometheus. So here you can find the page where you can install the Prometheus on Ubuntu. So you can refer the article by simply clicking on the prerequisites here. So, so as you can see, to list out that I have installed the Prometheus. So now we need to simply update the Prometheus configuration. So as I have saved my configuration file in the etc directory, so I will update that file. So simply to update the file, the prometheus.yaml configuration file, simply type sudo nano and the location of that file. Here you can find this in the script config section. You need to add the job name and the static config. So now we will simply add the in the configuration script configs section. So just add the job name, which is the nginx-prometheus-exporter. Follow proper indentation so it will not cause any error, and enable the port 9113. So which is the default port for Nginx Prometheus exporter. So we have learned this in the prerequisite. So simply save the configuration file by simply typing entering Ctrl plus X Shift plus Y and enter. Now we will check the status of the Prometheus. So before that, now we will need to restart the Prometheus. And now we will check the status. So there are no errors in the prometheus.yaml. So if there are any errors, it will not run. So now after this, you need to configure the firewall, which will enable, which include enabling the firewall on the ports 80, 9090 and 9113, which is our respective for Nginx, Nginx exporter, Prometheus exporter, and the Prometheus server. So simply type here sudo, you have to look enable, which will enable the firewall, and now simply type here sudo ufw allow port 80, then 9090, which is for Prometheus server, and finally 9113, which is for Nginx Prometheus export. Now you can also check the status by simply typing sudo ufw firewall status, and here you can find that we have added the port number successfully. Now our next step will be to verify the host status on our Prometheus server. So let's verify. So just copy our IP address and just type 909, so which will open a user interface for Prometheus server. And if you click on status, then click on targets, here you can find that our Nginx Prometheus exporter has been added in Prometheus successfully. Now we will check the metrics of the Nginx Prometheus export. So simply type here 9113 and metrics. So here you can find all the metrics. In this matrix, you can find the Nginx connection accepted, Nginx connection waiting, and ready. So now here you can find in the target we have successfully added the nginx-prometheus-exporter, so which will scrape the metrics and you can monitor it with the help of Prometheus. Now we will learn about some example to monitor Nginx metrics on Prometheus. So let's see the metrics called as Nginx connection active. So just type your Nginx and here you can find the metrics name. So if you click on this and click on execute, here you can find that this Nginx connection active. So basically it is a metric provided by Nginx that indicates the current number of active client connection to the Nginx server. So here you can find which is 1. So this connection will represent client currently communicating with the server, such as requesting web pages, downloading files, or accessing APIs. So basically what is the usage? So this metric is crucial for monitoring server health and workload. So it will provide insights into the server's current capacity and helps administrators to gauge the level of incoming traffic, monitoring Nginx connection active enables with timely responses to changes in the traffic patterns and ensures optimal server performance. So let's take an example. So suppose you operate an e-commerce website hosted on an Nginx server. So during peak shopping hours, the Nginx connection active metric shows a significant increase or more user access to the website to browse product and make purchases. So by monitoring this metric, you can assess the server's ability to handle incoming requests and scale resources as needed to maintain a seamless shopping experience for the customers. So this was the example. Now we will learn about the, so here if you click on table, it will give table and it will also provide you the graph. So you can monitor the active connection. Now we will learn about our second matrix, which is Nginx connections accepted. So simply type your Nginx and you can find other metrics also such as reading, waiting, and writing. So here if you click on accepted, so remove the first matrix and just click on execute. So here you can find the Nginx connection accepted is 7. So this is a metric provided by Nginx that indicates the total number of accepted client connections since the Nginx server started. So this connection represents successfully the connections established between clients and the server. So what is the usage? So this metric provides insights into the overall connection activity of the Nginx server since its initialization. So it helps administrator understand the historical pattern of client connection and assess server performance over time. So monitoring Nginx connection accepted assist in capacity planning, resource allocation, and identifying long-term trends in server usage. So what's the example? So consider a content delivery network CDN using Nginx to serve multimedia content to user worldwide. So basically by monitoring Nginx connection accepted over an extended period, the CDN administrator can analyze trends in connection growth, identify peak usage periods, and plan infrastructure upgrades to accommodate increasing demand. So this metric serves as a valuable tool for optimizing CDN performance and ensuring reliable content delivery to users across the globe. So we have successfully learned about the Nginx Prometheus exporter. So now we will conclude for today. So in this tutorial, you learned how to monitor Nginx with Prometheus on Ubuntu server by collecting and analysis metrics from Nginx. So which we can gain valuable insight into performance and health of our web server. So basically, monitoring Nginx with Prometheus helps you to detect issues early and optimize your server for better performance and reliability. So thank you for watching the video, and please do like and share the video and also subscribe our channel. So see you in the next video. Thank you.